Good morning, afternoon, or evening to you all. We introduce you here the first of the videos of the midterm evaluation of the HRC project you have participated in. As you see in the first slide, this is a midterm evaluation, and therefore our main aim is to be as practical as possible to identify good practices and lessons learned. But we want to identify as well impacts, and that is why we are producing this video about most significant change stories. We are in the general need of finding good information. That's why we need a bit of effort out of your part in order to be able to get this information. And one of the things that we are going to use is these most significant change stories. We have worked already with you in the monthly templates in order to address and to identify these significant stories. But in this occasion, what we want you is to stop and think what have been the most significant changes in the whole project up to now, during the whole activities. I don't know if you are aware of that, but this most significant change is a worldwide use methodology. It's very useful, and I'm not going to take longer in order to explain you what is that about, but you can use it for a lot of things, and it will be very useful for your organization to include this kind of practices of collection of information methodologies in order to be able to tell your donors, your funders, or your partners the kind of achievements that you are addressing. The way that we're going to use this tool in this evaluation is a soft way, because our resources are limited regarding the time, but it's still part of this methodology. What we will do with this information, we will use it only and exclusively for the aim of the evaluation, and we will be strictly confidential, of course. So now what we want to do is we have sent you a link to the place where you will find the most significant change template. Now I'm gonna link over that link, and we will fill it in together so that you can have an example of the kind of templates of fish that we're expecting. So we click on the link that we have provided you with, and it will take us to the most significant change template that we have created. You will have a brief introduction to the template where we explain that there are two different sections. The first section with information of the starring individual of the story. In the cases where the starring where the story is starred by not by an individual but by an organization, just skip this first part of personal information, and then the second part where we go straight away to the point of finding what have been the most significant change stories. So first, personal information with questions such as type of place you live in, country where the starring person is coming from, gender, and so on and so forth. Maybe a type of agent, whether they were normal citizens. For example, in the case of netizens, you might have been monitoring. That would be you will click on this one. Type of human rights they advocate. In these cases, they advocate the one starring the story. And then here as well you see organization or person recording the story. Here is your name, the ones that you will be kind of selecting, doing a pre-selection of the stories. So first question of the second part, which is the questionnaire of the most significant change. How did you become involved with the intervention, and what were the activities you benefit from? Briefly describe the training, services, content monitoring, and or materials received. In case, if you look here, in case the story is started by an organization, please include the name of the organization. So we're going to start by an individual. Let's say the individual, we already recorded the personal data before. We don't need any names, of course, because of confidentiality and security. Here we will say that involve by trainings on editorial, digital security, and business management skills. Since you were benefiting from the activities, what do you think have been the most significant changes brought to you by these activities? So this individual may say that main changes come because of his capacity of writing better pieces of work, his skills for investigation, or the use of encryption, for example, could be the main changes that have come about because of the participation in these activities. And then if there is more than one change, which one has been the most significant to you? In this case, this individual may say that he has published a very successful piece of investigation with 500,000 likes and sharings that has become a political trending topic in the region X or even in the country. So the next section will be, please include an adequate headline title. In this case, the title for this most significant story will be like successful investigation, could be the title. Then number 5, optional for organizations for you that you are filling in this questionnaire. You may provide some comments, and you may say here that this individual had a record of good pieces of investigation but lack the technical skills to reach a wider audience, and trainings provided him with that kind of skills. Recommendations for future interventions arising from the story here, as you know what kind of activities he has received and how many of the people that have received these activities have been as successful as this individual. You may tell us that the mentoring, for example, that the mentoring approach used in the trainings proved to be one key feature for the improvement of skills of the individuals. For example, in the case that you are an organization and that you have pinpointed, identified good most significant stories regarding your organization, in this case you will skip part 1, all this personal data, and you will start from here. Here you will include the name of the organization. It will be organization X, that you have been involved through an intervention on business management, for example. Changes that you have seen is that you have now a business plan, you have a human resources strategy, and another change is that you have improved your overall budget and cash flow. In the cases of there was more than one change, which was the most important one. In your case, might have been that you have been able to reach other funders that ensure the sustainability of the organization, and that because of the activities of the business management training that you have received. So adequate headline title in this case would be like fundraising. And then the comments, if you have any, you will include them, and recommendations as well for the future is the kind of methodologies or what have given you the point for finding these further funds. That would be a very good recommendation for any other organization having experiencing the same kind of programs as you had before. So once we have filled in the form, we have included here a section of frequent asked questions. So for example, how many templates do you need to fill in? We're expecting at least 2 of them. I mean, you have participated in the project, so normally you might be able to pinpoint, to identify 2 significant stories, and maximum 4. Yes, because we want you to pre-select the best ones. When is the last day, the deadline? It's Tuesday the 13th at 12 p.m. Answers have to be thorough but brief. So yes, strike the balance. You may include negative stories, and you can ask the trainee or the individual to fill it themselves. If you wish, though, you will need to brief them in order to make sure that they understand what this template is about. What will we do with the stories? We will run another selection process so that at the end we have like the 5, 6, even 7 most significant stories of the whole project. That is the main aim, so that we can as well disseminate that information to the global donors of this project, and we can as well identify which methods are leading to the best solutions. And what happens if you have no significant stories? Just send us an email, explain a bit why you think there are no significant stories, what is the reason that there are no impacts at the moment. And if you have any other questions, of course, you can contact me through the email. We have already introduced ourselves, so you can contact us for whatever questions you may have. Thank you very much.